Hey, Kent. So, welcome to the Smoky podcast. This is our first episode. Can you please introduce yourself, what you do, and how you know me?
So yeah, I am a magician. I am. My name's Kent Axell, and I am a professional magician and mentalist. I teach magic on the side to worthy students only. And Avery, the host of this wonderful program, is one of my magic students when I lived in New York City. I have
Yes.
since, over the past couple of years, well, over the past 2 years ago, I moved out to Las Vegas and I have been here making new routes ever since. But once in a while, I get to go back to New York a couple times a year at least to do corporate work that worth flying out for. And I hopefully, fingers crossed, I get to give time to a lesson or a hangout or something like that. But now that we're all in quarantine, we're finally going to figure out which of those meetings could have actually been, okay, or which of those hangouts could have been done digitally, which is
Yeah.
I'm so proud that we're doing this now. We're
I,
cool.
I know. I don't. So my school went to virtual, like no problem. I'm like,
Oh yeah,
we could have been doing this the whole time.
yeah. That's going to be brutal for public schools. Public
Yeah.
schools. I loathe the public school system. I
Yeah.
will say unabashedly a waste of 12 years of my life. No problem. I have no problem saying at all. Fight. So so now everyone's going to be like, and now I've heard that teachers are actually bringing YouTube videos and like stuff like that into the class, and it's like that is by definition an admission that you could do this at home. And secondly, now that you're switching, tell me about switching over to digital. That's insane.
I don't have a single physical textbook. All I have paper wise is notebooks for math and Latin. The only two things that I use a notebook for.
That's that's amazing. You wait, so you're just writing, just using a notebook.
Yeah, but for everything else, I'm typing.
Everything else you're typing. So why are you writing? Well, I guess I can see why you'd be writing with math. Did you
Oh,
say? Did you say another thing? Was it math?
math and Latin. Latin,
And okay, so that's more to get it in your brain.
yeah, it's.
Yeah.
I feel like for languages and for math, it's always going to be like that. But still, like the
Hmm.
transition has been flawless for my school. Uh,
Yeah. Well, you know what? This is your time and all of your cohorts, your comrades, your little Prussian model school children time to prove that you can do better or as well or better from home. So so don't mess this up for us. You have a tiny little sibling now, right?
two.
You have two tiny little siblings. That's right. Oh my goodness, that's right. Don't mess this up for them.
No, yeah.
All right? They could be doing this through their whole school career.
I don't know, because I feel like for the very early grades, there is something that is gained from like the social aspect.
Okay, great. So just hang out in community centers and play.
Seems legit.
But the learning stuff, oh wait, sit in rows. Come on.
Yeah.
You want to be out there shooting fake guns, learning about history that way, don't you?
That would
Yeah.
be my preferred. I mean,
The first thing I want people on this podcast to know is that you're a Civil War reenactor,
fr- Revolutionary War.
revolutionary. Oh my goodness!
Gosh, Ken,
I'm sorry.
has it been that long?
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry.
It was the,
Revolutionary War.
it was the
Reen-
saddest thing. I found I had my coat in my jacket, my coat hanging up in my closet, and I put it on and it didn't fit and it was so tight and I almost I was so sad that it was gone, that I couldn't do that anymore.
Oh, because you've grown.
I've grown out of the coat.
Oh man, it's too bad they don't make Revolutionary War coats in adult sizes.
They do. It's just that I haven't gotten another one, and
Well,
I just lost the passion for it with all this like school nonsense.
oh, I understand. I understand. Plus, you know what? Well, at least if you're well, I mean, Revolutionary War. So if you're can't be like walking side by side in formation at all, right? Because of social distancing.
6 feet apart.
Yeah,
So much more coordination.
yeah. Well, it's hard to. At least there's more empty space.
Yeah, I thought about it. Social distance football. Could we make it work?
Okay. Okay. So tackling, that's the real problem to solve, right?
Yeah, they're getting very much in each other's business.
Hmm.
You know
So
those like giant sumo suits?
yes, like boy in a bubble type thing too. Like you could do that.
Yeah.
Okay. So how do you pass the ball off? Is it like sticky?
Yeah, it's sticky. Or
Okay.
there's like a little like tray at the top that you
So
gotta
it's one
like
of those
land.
like a tray at the top. Wait, at the top of the boy in the bubble thing, but it rolls.
But like the tray is like levitating.
Okay, I was with you through all of the boy in the bubble stuff and the sumo suits, and all. I would even put people in for extra safety. I'd put them in the sumo suits in the hamster balls. But the levitating tray on top, that you lost me there. You're jumping the shark.
Oh,
I think it'd have to be like one of those booger toys that you can fling against the wall and it kind of like flip flops
how about
down.
like a
You need
drone?
a thing all made of that.
A drone? Like a drone with like a little silver platter on the top of it, and you gotta get it right on the tray, and the drone is just programmed to fall right under that bubble.
Okay, now it's just Quidditch. So this is not going to work. This is this is you know what? Instead of designing this sport, we should do. Let's talk about magic.
Yeah.
So I'm a magician.
I mean, I think mentalism. You made the right choice because like even if you can't do that, you could be just the dopest waiter ever.
Waiter?
Waiter, you know, like they look at the menus and then you're like, oh yeah, I know exactly what you guys want to get.
Well, yeah, assuming that they write it down on the paper and you look at it while they're not looking. Did I derail the conversation by being honest?
No.
No. Well, the thing about the thing you've just, I mean, as you know, you just put forward something that is you're right. I mean, you're right. If I want to pretend like I can actually read people's minds, that is the perception people have. That's a problem for me. I'm trying to solve that problem myself, but
Yeah. Because
the
like the
issue,
challenges you get, like oh, if you can do such and such, why can't you do this?
that's a good point, but to me, it's not. So just to get people on track here. So mentalism is a subset of magic. It is often looked at as something different than magic, because oftentimes when people are performing magic, it is not assumed that what they're doing is real. It is assumed that what they're doing is some form of deception. But when they're performing mentalism, which basically uses very similar or identical techniques, but
Very similar.
in the presentation, you're acting like you're actually reading the mind or influencing someone's behavior. And the results of mentalism, usually people, or not, I don't know if I don't know, but very often people believe that what you're doing is legitimate.
Well,
So there's a person at Canon.
here's a
Uh,
question. Do you think
yeah, yeah.
like the media, like media about like the Now You See Me movies where like hypnotism can be done like that and really reading people and reading their minds is
Yeah.
done through these films. Do you think that influences people in their perception of mentalism?
I think yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's and there is a certain level of reality to this. I've done a hypnosis show or two, and it's a fascinating phenomenon. I don't really know what's going on there,
I got a
but
dude so good with hypnotism at a summer camp. And what I did, and I've stopped doing this when I do hypnotism,
yes.
where every time you take a step, your feet get a little bit hotter. But I had
Ooh.
built it up so well that he was jumping on top of me because his feet were burning.
Mm,
So I had to like wrestle him off and just like put him out and tell him to stop doing that.
that's hilarious. What I would say honestly when it comes to the um, when it comes to the public perception of mentalism being a real thing, that mentalism is there's nobody out there doing. I should say it's very rare to find someone out there doing card tricks, calling themselves a real life sorcerer.
Yeah.
And it's very rare that if that person is doing that, anyone believes them at all. But
Very.
there are people out there. It's a combination. First of all, if you're doing psychic performances as a mind reader, genuinely, you're presenting yourself as psychic. There are people out there who claim to be psychic.
Yeah.
Now, obviously I can't say that there's no such thing as psychic. I mean, I could say that, but I would be tasked with proving a negative. Not possible.
Yeah.
What I can say.
It's become such
is,
like how do you know no one's ever done it? It's
right. What I can say, or there could be some corner of the universe back behind Phoenix where somebody's actually a real psychic or whatever, or some sub-Saharan village. There's a real psychic down there. What I can say is that everything that I've ever seen, the Caputo, the Long Island Medium, or John Edwards, or any of the other psychics that are famous, anything I've ever seen them do, I can explain through material means. I can probably replicate.
yeah.
And
I mean, that's what Houdini used to do after his wife passed away.
That's right.
He'd go around and he'd expose psychics because it made him angry.
Specifically, he would expose mediums, go through medium seances. He'd expose all sorts of them. That's where sort of Brandy took up the mantle. But so that's one reason why a lot of people think that mentalists are the real deal, because they parade around as psychics. Psychics are mentalists in a way, but they don't admit it. So that's one level, and another level is that there is a real side. So if you're doing a mentalism show as an influencer, the psychological profession, as a Sherlockian detective type character, there are legitimate sciences and legitimate psychological techniques which lead people to a certain extent. And so people have seen, people have heard of things like tasting, mirroring, and they've seen people influence other people, and they've heard of negotiating, like that. People that kind of get in your head. But the fact of the matter is that usually when a mentalist is performing this kind of effect, they're doing it in a psychological way. They're not actually using any legitimate psychology to do that, and they're 100% relying on, for instance, getting that information in a different. Let's just say it.
Yeah.
Getting that information, and I did say earlier, looking at the piece of paper when no one thinks that they've looked at it, and that's one way that mentalists get the information. They look at the piece of paper, written the information down on, and then they'll try to, when nobody thinks that it's possible for them to have looked at it, and then they will try to reframe it such that it seems as though the piece of paper is arbitrary, right? And that's really where the talent is the psychology of deception, but not the psychology of. There's no way for me to actually influence your behavior to the extent that a mentalist can make you believe that.
Yeah, it's all showbiz. It's all showbiz. It's summed up. You're just.
Actually, let me put it this way. There's a guy at Canon who said it this way, or said something similar to this. And I'm not sure if I've adapted it or if I'm quoting it correctly. Will, it's the magic shop, very famous magic shop.
Yes.
In New York City.
And they also host a magic.
I believe it's the oldest magic shop. And yeah, it's of Canon's magic fame. So he said that magic is about giving people no answer, right? And mentalism is about giving people the wrong answer. And I thought that that was very clever, and it's true. And so the problem that I have with mentalism as a whole, even though I do make my living primarily as a mentalist, is that my audience every time in aggregate walk out of the show dumber than they walked
Yeah.
because I have in fact perpetuated pseudoscience during
Well,
the show.
it's like the in Mesoamerica before Columbus discovered America, when like the priest would know when a solar eclipse would come in, so he'd like trick them into thinking he caused it.
Hmm.
Uh, like he'd do whatever, and he's like, we need to appease the gods, so he'd do something dramatic, and then the sun would come right back, and then all these people would believe him.
Very interesting. Yeah, I actually um, don't know the history of that, but if that's what happened, yes, that's kind of the same thing. You use, I mean, that's not a simple secret. That's a pretty epic magic trick, but you use a simple secret to uh, to to frame a situation such that you have these incredible abilities. And people watch a mentalism trick, and sometimes, most times, they will react similarly to the way they react. Sometimes you get people who are just like, "Oh yeah, you're psychic."
So
Oh, okay, great. So you have the answer. So they have the answer is you're psychic. And oh, okay, cool. Um, that's not what I'm trying to get across.
do you find a difference? I know you do a lot of mentalism, but I know you've also done other types of magic. How do you experience hecklers differently? Do you find them to be the same? Do you find it to be different?
Hmm. Um, I find that let me think about this. Hecklers when I'm doing magic.
Yeah, like hecklers for mentalism versus the kind of hecklers that you get for doing something like cups and balls.
I think it's similar. Um, it's similar to me because I do my best to frame my mentalism show as a magic, and that's part of the solution to the problem that I'm putting out there. Is I don't think I've solved the problem effectively yet, but yeah, I'm going to say that a disclaimer or some sort of way to curb the audience's belief in psychic phenomenon when they leave the show is important. And for me, it will. That's a whole different conversation. But for me, hecklers usually they're curious, not. And what I mean by that is that usually they will take the framework of the trick that you've put together and the words that you've said, and they'll see how close to the line they can get. And usually they won't cross them. Usually they'll say, like for instance, if I have if I'm doing I have a trick that I do a lot, the card under the box, where their selected card keeps ending up under the box over and over again, and they just don't know how, right?
You did
And
that
so
to me the first one of the first lessons you for me. You did that trick for me, and that blew my mind. That
it's a,
absolute.
yeah, it's great. Um, but yeah, what was your experience watching?
I didn't. I wasn't very skeptic of it. I also was a little nervous because I was very new to talking with you and meeting with
Yeah,
you, but seeing that trick, I just kept thinking, wow, this guy is like faster than me or smarter than me or he's ahead of me in some way. Uh,
and that's. I mean, maybe there's a little selfish part of it. That's why I like the trick so much. It kind of delivers exactly what it promises. But when that promise is delivered, it's still a surprise because there's no way. And then we forget about it for half a second. We're not looking at the box, and then
it's back
the
again.
guy says, "Check the box." And you look under the box. The card is on the deck. The card is under the box, and it's just impossible. It's kind of like, and that's to me that's a good experience because when I'm playing, if I were to play tennis against uh, their names are escaping me, but one of the systems. If I were to play tennis against Serena Williams, right,
You-
I better lose,
yeah.
right, and I better lose bad.
like it should just look like
Yeah,
it should
that's
look
the
like
whole
what you
reason.
expect. The one of
That's what I
the
would expect. Yeah,
best
you're the
tennis players.
professional. I'm the amateur, and I'm entering into this contest willingly, right? I better lose bad. And the whole time I'm losing, I'm not going to be stressed out about it. I'm just going to be amazed at what's going on the other side of that net, right? And that to me is the contract that a volunteer and that a spectator or a volunteer.
Yeah, and then the same thing where you get people who expect to win or expect to, in Magic's case, figure out the trick, and it's all about perception. Some people decide that they're going to sit back and enjoy this, and some people are going to decide, well, no, I have to beat Serena Williams, otherwise.
Oh yeah. Well, that's to bring it back to heckling. That is the person who is who to me, like I said, they're trying to bring it right to the edge without crossing the line. Usually, a heckler is a friend. Usually, a heckler to me is somebody who wants to succeed. They want to succeed just at the edge of the boundaries that you've set up. And so the question is, how do you if you have a heckler and you have not successfully dealt with that, the question is, how could you frame the routine next time so that somebody wouldn't even think of heckling in that way? So the example that I could give is now I'm pretty good at dealing with hecklers because I like card under box. They're very inviting of that kind of behavior, right? So it's so if somebody were to then take their card physically and take the deck physically, and then put the card in the deck and shuffle the deck themselves, right? Now I will have to locate that card and misdirect and get the card under the box myself, under conditions that I wasn't really prepared for. I have made it look like I can do that, but I've been using deception and little secrets along the way to make that happen.
Yeah.
And so that person, if you think about it, they're thinking to themselves, there's no way that this has happened. I'm going to make this a little bit harder, but I'm not going to do it. Like if they were being mean, they would take the cards, they would put them in their purse or whatever, right? And then they would say, now get it under the box. But what they're doing is they're shuffling the cards themselves, and then they're handing them back and saying, okay, now, right?
Yeah.
And they're doing it under the guise of, now I'm going to pay attention to it. I've shuffled the deck myself, and that can be a scary moment for a magician. But to me, I'll try to find a way to deal. Like maybe I'll locate the card, and they're watching the box. But then the way that you deal with that is if you're a magician listening to this, you remove the card sequence from the deck, and put it somewhere else. Maybe get it in your wallet or get it under their cocktail. That's a great.
Yeah. When it winds up on their person, it's such a like something that they believe is like in their realm. Like that's why I like people use close-up mats because it becomes their realm. When it winds up in the spectator's realm, it just freaks them out, and it's such an intense reaction.
So yeah, I find when I'm dealing with hecklers, usually that's a person that wants. Usually that's the person that's going to react the biggest if I do. You know what I mean? Because now it's on their terms, or at least the terms that they have laid out inside of the world that I've seen. Really don't go outside the world, honestly. And so now to bring this back to mentalism, part of the reason that I think people stay within the rules when they're watching my mentalism is that I do set it up as a challenge. I do set it up as a show about deception, not a show about psychology, not a show about psych. Actually, I have this line that's don't think of me the tech because that's an insult to tech. Don't think of me as a psychic either. That's an insult. Think of me instead more like a reformed cult leader. And to me, that I like it. It always gets a laugh, and and it delivers the message that I want, which is that I'm going to be using deception to get what I need out of it. I'm going to
Yeah.
use everything in my power to if I hear you say something in the lobby, if I see something on you that I can use, um, if I get your credit card number because you bought a ticket for the show and I can research it, anything, literally anything that's at my disposal, and which is actually kind of nice. That kind of thing, that kind of thinking, justifies the rule set that you're putting forward.
Yeah, people are. You don't run into the challenge like if you were really claiming to be a mentalist, then people could just be like, oh, what color am I thinking of?
Exactly. Exactly. And those are all things that you can address during a show, but now you can be prepared for each of those different different presentations. Of course, people are aware that you're inside of the flow of a show that's getting more and more ridiculous. Then I find that I don't find because I can't really read minds, but I would assume that if they want to, if they just saw you name, for instance, a city that someone was thinking of, and apparently that person never said that out loud, never wrote it down, and they thought of it in that moment, there's no way that you ever could, then then that kind of trumps the thing that they were going to ask, like, what's my birthday or what's my favorite color, because those things may be able to be found on Facebook. Who knows? But the thing that people are thinking of in that moment, live, in that room, that that framework there, uh, I think is actually sort of more impressive now that you framed it as a deception.
Yeah, it's like no, this because I feel like people when they call it mentalism, they're almost solving it. They're almost finding the answer for themselves. They're like, oh, I know how this is done. I don't have to think about this. I don't have to like almost worry over it. Like, why is
Well,
he able to
yeah,
do that?
right. It is a little disturbing to people when you say, no, this is a deception show. Everything you think you know about the show when you wrong,
Yeah.
right? It's a little disturbing because I think one of the reasons why people look at a show like this where it gets progressively more and more impossible. So there's one routine where I'm guessing what hand to, right? Now I'm not going to tip how this works, for your listeners. But I will say that there may be certain levels of psychology in there that are only based in deception. I can guess what point a hand is in. Actually, I'm pretty good at it. But I have a way of knowing 100, or I would never do that.
No. The
So what people, well, let me finish the point, because what people want to do is they want to walk away from it and say, oh, well, that guy's just incredibly good at psychology, which is cool. Like, that's neat. That makes me feel good when people think I'm a superhero. But also, those people are now dumber because they've walked out believing things that aren't true. And so, what I want them to be saying on the way out, I have no idea how that works. I have no idea. I have no idea. That's unfathomable. And 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 tell them that the way that I knew where that coin was at all times, has nothing to do with psychology, leaves them in a place where they have to say that. They have to say, well, I have. Plus, they come up with another solution. But then, that's your job is to, actually, Orson Welles said this, the job of a magician is to abolish solutions. In the introduction of a book called Magic.
say that again. You cut out. What's the name of the book?
The name of the book is Magic as a Hobby, or Magic as Hobby, something like that. Orson Welles wrote the introduction for it. There's this great line in it, which I really like. The job of the magician is to abolish solutions. And part of abolishing a solution for a mentalist, which is the type of magician, me, making sure that people are walking out without a solution.
Yeah.
And so now, you can even take it back farther, back to how is magic surviving.
So what are you doing? I know you find this to be a problem with mentalism, especially for yourself. Are you doing anything to try to spread it among your contemporaries?
Oh, to spread that idea?
Uh huh.
Okay, so this is so cool. Yeah. So I've been thinking about this for a long time. I do think that disclaimers are necessary. But one thing, you get a lot of arguments about disclaimers that are definitely not good arguments. So when somebody says, I think a disclaimer is ethically necessary, regardless of how effective. And so I'd like to think of it in terms of how do we make our audiences walk out of the room not dumber than they walked in? Like that's really my main concern. Like it doesn't matter whether it's a disclaimer or whatever. Because actually disclaimers, there are some studies, there's survey studies I think that show that disclaimers are totally ineffective. Like no matter what you say, people are still gonna come up to you after the show and say, no, like when, like, you know what I mean?
It's almost like saying like, but,
Yeah,
and it just
right, right,
completely makes that disclaimer seem like, okay, why'd you even tell us that if you're still gonna go on with this?
right. And there's this attitude in the mental community which is like, oh well, I don't do a disclaimer. I just let the audience decide. And it's like, well, if if you're doing an hour and a half, like if you're doing 90 minutes of your psychic phenomenon, you're actually not letting the audience decide because if you're an
Playing
effective.
from Galaxy Note 9.
Oh my God! Stop it, Alexa. Um. Oh, okay. Oh, thank
Welcome
you.
to our newest guest, Alexa. Thank you for joining us on the podcast.
That was you telling me we had 30 minutes in. No, I'm okay for a little bit. Appreciate it, though. I appreciate it. So yeah, if you hold on, where was I?
People not stupider than when they walked in.
Yeah. So if you want to think of it in terms of that, oh, like I said, if you're doing 90 minutes of your mind reading magic, then people are definitely hearing one side of an argument. They're hearing positive. They're hearing and seeing positive. If you have any empathy with your audience involved, you have to understand that when you do 90 minutes of what appears to be telepathy, you are providing them with anecdotal, at the very least, anecdotal evidence of the effectiveness of telepathy, right? And so the whole like, oh, I just let the audience decide thing, that doesn't work. That's bunk. Then there's the other thing, which is, yeah, I do a disclaimer. I say I'm here for entertainment purposes only. And it's like, nope, that doesn't work either. People still think you're psychic. They just think you're psychic and entertaining.
Yeah.
Right?
Like, why can't you be both? You gotta, like, completely say...
Well, yeah. John Edwards could say that. And he does. Like, that's part of his disclaimer. Like, he puts that up on his like, that is part of the text, that part of the legalese text of the show is that, the crossing over show, you know?
Actually, I do not know that. I do not.
Okay, no, he's not really this generation, but sort of the last generation. But same thing with kind of Uri Geller and Sylvia Brown. But this guy John Edwards, he had a show called Crossing Over where he spoke to the dead. Now his disclaimer is a legalese one. It's all in text. It's all about the show being for entertainment purposes. But he's talking to dead relatives, and people believe that he's talking to dead relatives. Yeah. And so he does do that disclaimer, but that doesn't help people to not believe nonsense.
I very much do not like those shows because I'm almost positive, just knowing what I know about magic and mentalism, that they're not actually talking to their dead relatives, and it just feels so like dirty and wrong to exploit people's pain for entertainment.
It's absolutely gross. And but you know what the thing though, from an outside perspective, you can't look at John Edwards and say, even I can say everything I see to do, I can explain. But I can't say, or I can say how I would do it, and I can explain it by material. But I also can't say that he's not doing it like a psychic. So that's where it becomes very difficult. Even if somebody learns a full secret about it, they'll go off and if they see the next thing that they can explain, that'll just be, oh, that guy's. And so all of this is just to say that the entertainment purpose is only this term, I'm an entertainer. That is not a juggler is an entertainer. They go on stage and they juggle. The audience assumes that juggler can juggle because they can juggle, right?
Yeah.
When a quote unquote mind goes on and says, "Well, I'm just an entertainer," then they proceed to read minds. As far as the audience is concerned, it's the same thing. They're on stage reading minds, and it's entertaining. But now I have one more data point: psychic phenomena is real, and I am now less informed about the world. So therein lies the problem. Most of these arguments against disclaimer are unargued. The best one that I've heard, they're effective, and that to me just sounds like a lack of imagination. So yes, I am trying to spread the word about it. But here's a funny one. Have you ever played on an Oculus?
On an Oculus? I don't even
Yeah,
know what that is.
The VR headset.
Oh, okay. No, I do not. I do not have VR.
So I recently went on a lecture tour with Watkin. He's another very talented. Went it. We did like a 30-city tour, but we had to cancel the last 6 stops because of coronavirus. We actually ended up going from Indianapolis, Indiana, all the way to Las Vegas, one run, and it was like a 26-hour drive.
Oh wow.
Yeah, because we just decided, like, screw it. We called people up and said, one of our tours, one of our stops canceled because they were afraid of getting the virus, and this as this was all sort of folding in on itself, becoming sort of media panic we have now. And whether it's justified or not is I think it probably is. A lot of people involuntarily staying in my home for that very reason. We decided after the one group canceled, and we looked into it a little more, read researched the virus a little more, that we were like, oh yeah, you know what? Carriers or whatever, we're gonna call and cancel everybody. So,
safe, responsible thing.
It was a bummer.
I know it's a bummer, but it's a good decision. Just helping flatten the curve.
Flatten the curve, man. Flatten the curve.
I mean, one very big, just silver lining for me is that all my favorite YouTubers and creators have nothing but time to put out content.
Good. Yeah, it's a great time for people to start a podcast.
Yeah, and I expect all my favorite comedians, for when this is over, have a bunch of new jokes. And be ready.
So here's the thing. Here's how your here's the interesting thing about this lecture. The bringing back the VR headset. So I was at a surprise birthday party for a very here in Vegas, and there were a couple of magicians who the magic community is familiar with, Bizarro and Shock. And they were there, and they were doing, and I mean, not just the magic. They have there. I think they've both been on. I know the Shocker has been on Plus. Bizarro is very good, and very good. Both of them good creators. And they were running a game, the VR game. It was a VR headset, and there was a piece of wood on the ground. And what you do is you put this headset on. So it was like a 2x4 on the ground. You'd put this headset on, and you'd be transported under the city street of this world. And you look around, you're in the world, and you're inside an elevator, and you reach out and push a button in the elevator, and you actually start going up in the elevator. And yeah, so sorry, business call there? Yeah, call them. But hey, so you're going up in this elevator, and the doors open, and in front of you, it opens up to this totally open space, like 100 stories up, and there's a plank leading straight out the side of this building, just over nothing, right? And so it's kind of augmented reality. Your job, and at the end of the plank, there are some donuts, cake, and your job is to walk to the end of the plank, pick up the donuts, right? It's just a sandbox doesn't give you a prize. And when those elevator doors open and you're in this virtual world, you are 100% aware that what's going on is a deception. But your palms still sweat. Your heart rate still goes up.
Yeah. You
And when
still
you
feel
step out,
every moment of it.
exactly. So the argument that I hear from people against disclaimers, one of them is, well, people are aware that it's a deception. They will not enjoy it, or they will not enjoy it at all.
Oh.
They will experience it as if it's psychic. And I just disagree wholeheartedly. I thought that this demonstration, Oculus, was a great demonstration of exactly how I feel about it. When those elevator doors open, you are 100 stories. You just are. Your unconscious mind totally fooled. And so the argument that I put back at the magician's mentalist is, look, you are fooled because of the strength of the illusion. It does not matter that you are 100 aware that it's an illusion, that it's a deception. The power, the strength of the deception is strong enough, the illusion is strong enough that it just doesn't matter. Your experience is very, very much.
Yeah.
The only thing holding you around and keeping you brave is the fact that you are aware that you're actually living. But still your palms sweat, still your heart rate goes up, and still you're in my show. You're watching, even if you know I'm not.
Yeah, because you're still fooling them, and like you said, your job is to create no solutions. And when there's no solutions, you still doesn't matter how many times someone says to you, it's all a trick. It's all a trick. It doesn't make it any less. How did he do that?
That's right. And if you can manage to convince people that you're not a psychic, but still fool them and still give them zero solution, and they are fooled. Now think about that, man. They wanted to go to psychic, but they couldn't. Now they know there's a deeper level. If you can manage to convince them. Now there are many different ways that one might be able to, and this is probably something. This is a conversation for another time. But I'm brainstorming with a lot of listeners in the world. We'll probably be putting out work on on the disclaimer project, or at least whatever the project is about. Like I said, making sure your audiences do not walk out of the show dumber than they walked in.
That's just
That's
the thesis.
really
The thesis of the book. Make
that's the
sure
goal of the project. That's
these
right.
people walk out not dumber.
That's correct.
Maybe even they learn something.
That's right. And so we actually brought the Oculus. We brought the VR headset on the tour, and everywhere we went, we had people putting this thing on and walking the plank. And I think it made the point very, very.
Yeah.
And no one had ever seen it like before. And so now we're here. Everyone's putting out online content, and you are starting a podcast.
Yeah.
Why is that?
Well, I'm working on a channel. I've been doing YouTube on and off just kind of for fun or to just have my videos available for marketing. But I thought I think I'm kind of entertaining. I think people will watch, and I enjoy doing it.
Let the Martian speak.
And just having you on, like, even if no one watches this, just talking to you is fun. So.
Oh yeah, good. I'm so happy to catch up. It's been a long time, although I've been yammering this whole time.
No, you're kind of going circles around me. I should have been taking more notes on this.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Well. Look, the news of the day is this coronavirus thing, and we'll finish off here just by in a few minutes, just by giving people a general. Well, first of all, the way that it's affected you is really interesting, because I mean you're how old are you now?
I'm 15.
29.
No, I'm 15, and my mom wanted to give me a haircut. I now have a shaved head, so.
Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, this is why we're not doing.
Yeah, we've solved the mystery.
I saw your mom's Facebook post about that. She said, "Yes, that's right." She said so. Something like, "So I went to Dave for a haircut. Now I think something like that."
Yep, I am completely shaved head. I haven't had this kind of haircut since I was like 6.
Hey,
And
brother, she's preparing you for the apocalypse.
I know I'm gonna be one of the bald guys in the apocalypse with the. That'll be my
Right.
thing.
That's right. You got to get a spiked shoulder pad. They're
Ah,
all the
all the.
yes.
Well, I've been doing on my YouTube channel as like a character I've been playing with, Sir Avarice, and I have fake chainmail that I put on.
Huh.
So I might go with that. I might go with the chainmail look.
Beautiful, beautiful. So that's the wait. You'd be doing chainmail in the apocalypse? Hold on. Wouldn't that be heavy?
Yeah, but it would protect you from slashes.
It would protect you from flash? Yeah, I mean, I guess.
But only really slashes. Like it won't stop a
How many
bullet
people
or
do you
anything.
expect to be walking around with a sword?
Well, I do have a sword I could walk around with.
Yeah, but are you good? But if you're the one walking around with the sword, you don't need the chainmail. The other.
Good point. Everyone else is just gonna like look at me and like fury
Everyone else
road,
is there.
smash into me with their car.
AK-47. They're big, scary rifles.
Yeah.
Or they're revolver. You know what? I've been watching Westworld, so I'm gonna get a revolver.
Ooh.
Yeah.
There's so revolvers. The reason why, not a lot. There are a bunch of different reasons why some people don't like them, but the barrel and the bullet when you fire sits way higher than like pistols, so that's why they shoot back so much. And
Oh, the kick.
uh-huh.
Ah.
And there are revolvers where, imagine a revolver, but instead the barrel is lower and the bottom most cylinder is where the bullet that's being fired is.
Interesting.
So it's making it less likely to punch you in your face.
That's right. I have fired one gun in my life, but the Glock, like I was like, give me the beat one.
I'm a big fan of of that, and when I was in Vegas, I went out into the desert and I got to shoot a bunch of cool stuff.
I heard that you guys fired machine guns.
A saw, squad automatic weapon, a Barrett 50 cal. Have you ever seen one of those? Look it
I don't
up.
know what this means.
Just look up a Barrett 50 cal. It's just an insane looking gun. It's scary.
They're at 50 cal. Oh my goodness.
But it's so well designed. Like I'm not a small dude, but I'm not huge. I
Okay.
barely felt the recoil on that because it like
That's
dispersed the gas so well.
Wow.
But when my dad shot it and I was standing like probably 4 feet behind him, I felt the air hit me and I pretty much took like a stutter step back.
Wow.
Uh,
Wow. Yeah, that's good. That's good design. So what you're saying is that that lightweight like me might be able to handle that thing.
Yeah.
Good. All right. Perfect. So so we already know. So we know how your business is handling coronavirus. The public school system is shutting down, admitting that you do it better, and hopefully it stays that way. But for for me, I want to tell you that the magic world is going through some interesting changes. We're so I work for a company called Magic, and this is it's just like it's like a Netflix for magic. It's a great place to
say the
learn.
name of the company again. You cut out a little bit.
It's called Magic Flix. So just like spelled like Netflix, but the word magic instead.
Okay.
So magicflix.com. And if you go there, it's like a streaming magic learning platform. So I've got some stuff up there. Actually, the entire Greater Magic video library is on there. It's the only place that you can see this this amazing collection. And I've got all the legends on there. And so a lot of magic material is shifting over to streaming. pretty cool.
Did you watch the Vanishing Inc. Their convention that they hosted?
No, you know what? I wasn't able to watch the Vanishing Ink convention, but I know that Jeff McBride was the headliner, correct?
Yes, he was,
Yeah,
and a bunch of guys were on it. A lot of cool stuff. I'm pretty sure they recorded it and they have it up on their YouTube page on Vanishing Inc.
actually, are you a fan of McBride?
Uh, yeah.
Okay, well, okay, you'll be happy to know the business call that I denied during this conversation was Jeff McBride calling. Oh, what's that? I just dropped a name. Let me pick that back up. Sorry, put that back in my pocket. No, he's he and I work together on the Magic Flick platform. So he's one of our featured painters there, and myself as well, and Watkins, who came to the went on the lecture tour with me, was on there with incredible mentalist stuff. And yeah, I mean that's my 2 second pitch. If anyone's interested in learning some magic, it's all curated material. It's all really good material. Go on there, use promo code AEN. You'll get a free. I think it's 7 days. Might be a free month, but I think it's free 7 days for that promo code.
Could you on Messenger or whatever text me like the link and the code so I can put it in the description?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. So the details down in the and yeah, so there's that, and then there's also that I'm doing online shows, like streaming shows. So uh, somebody still wants to hold an event, still wants to see a magic show. So people are moving on. People are adapting. People are using the internet in new and exciting ways, and magic is no different. Magic is going moving forward and adapt. And those who can adapt will, and a bunch of new, interesting, innovative stuff and methods coming out of it. And I can now do a whole magic show just on my web.
That's insane. That is really cool.
And a mind reading show too, which is pretty cool. I mean, you would think that a mind reader could do a mind reading show on a web, even though a lot of the techniques kind of mean that you can't, right? But in this case, I have found the right material. I've found the right technique. I can do a whole mind reading show right over the web. Yeah.
Yeah, and then it's weird because anytime you're performing, you always have a level of control and a level of times when you have no control, and it just shifts. It doesn't eliminate either factor; it just shifts.
Yes. Yeah, I think I know what you mean. Like your well, maybe I don't know what you mean actually. I'm thinking you hand the deck off to somebody. You're doing a magic trick or something, and then you have no control. Is that what
Yeah, like in a whenever you're performing magic for a live audience, you never know what the audience might do to like the stuff that you give them, like the props.
Oh, that's you never know what's going to happen, especially in a mind reading show. You know, usually it's different every time. In a magic show, especially with the big box illusion, that's the same every time because you could technically do visual magic like David Blaine style stuff over a webcam, no problem. I've got an interactive show an interactive magic show that I can do over the webcam. But with a mind reading show, it's pretty much different every time. Like the difference that you're going to get in the magic show are what card they pick, right? But if you're going with people's thoughts, they can write down anything they want, they can ask any questions that they want, and that sort of thing, then it's definitely a different. It's much more variable. It feels more live. There's more life.
Do you know Danny Garcia?
Yeah.
He did something on the Vanishing Ink live stream that absolutely blew my mind.
Oh, what was it? What was it?
So he had the camera, he had it on the stand or whatever, and he was doing his trick, and then he zoomed out, and he had printed a picture of his hallway and put it on a little stand and framed it just right. So he had this little area where he could pull stuff from behind of, but it looked like it was a hallway that was going down in his house.
Yep. See, that is an example of, just adapting and finding interesting new ways to take advantage of your medium. I mean, a webcam is a really interesting medium. David Blaine and Chris Angel, they started their careers on. I mean, well, they started their they exploded into the public light on camera, and they used the camera to their advantage. Same thing with David Copperfield. He wasn't on camera as much. I mean, his specials were televised, but his shows, you can't sit on the side of the stage, backstage. Medium is a stage, so you use your medium to your advantage. In this case, you as us as magicians, we have total control of where the camera is. We can prepare the shots. We can, you know what I mean? We like in that case, Daniel Garcia, very creative way to connect and roll over your medium to create what I'm sure was an astonishing version.
Yeah, it's just one of those moments when, like, I felt like back before I knew what I know, when I would just see something or I'd learn something, and I would just go, what?
Isn't that moment great?
It's just like, it's one of the best feelings.
I love it. That's why I cherish it so much. Why I love being fooled, and I love learning magician really good. Not like puzzly ones where there's a 4-phase card trick where I find your card like, yeah, but it was long and boring. Find really good magician foolers. You'll be out every.
Yeah.
Yep. Good stuff, man. Well, hey, I think we're coming on time here. Oh, a little over an hour.
Yeah.
Wow, great.
Thank you so much for doing this.
Hey, you are very welcome, my friend. Anytime. I may use this material myself, so why don't you give your vitals? What is the where can people find you? And
Avery Prokopowicz, the YouTube is just called Smoky. That's the name of the channel. Or you can look up Sir Avarice. It'll be the dude, the kid with the green hat in the fake chainmail.
Great. All right. And for me, you can go to my social media. I've got Instagram. I don't really use Twitter. I've got Facebook, and I've got a TikTok that has nothing on it. It's all at Kent Axell, KENT, well, the burp, AXELL, KENTAXL. If you want to email me, all my contact information is on my website, kentaxell.com. It's also kentaxell. And once again, if you're interested in learning magic, you can contact me directly. I have adapted to doing Skype lessons for magic, and or Zoom lessons, and you can contact me directly for that, my email or website. And if you're interested in learning magic from lots of people, then Magic Flicks is $10 a month, but you get a free month with promo code 10.
Awesome.
All right.
Thank you so much, Kent.
Cool. Well, thank you very much, Avery. It's been a pleasure, and we'll catch up again soon. All right.
Talk to you later.
You too. Stay safe and wash your hands.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.